Oh, that's not working. Okay. Here we go. Hi, my name is Samantha Scantlin, and this is my individual family group presentation case study. So let's start with our client. Our client's name is Amanda Thompson. She is 33 years old. She is Caucasian, and she is diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. So here is the case. Amanda, a 33-year-old white woman who is diagnosed with schizophrenia, is your new client at the Mental Health Treatment Apartment program where you are a counselor. When meeting with her for a monthly service plan, Amanda states that she is unhappy with her therapist at the outpatient mental health clinic that she also attends. She tells you the therapist reminds her of her mother and that she plans on physically assaulting and harming this therapist at their meeting next week. After this meeting, you do a med count and see that Amanda has not taken her antipsychotic in 4 days. What are the next steps to take? I'm sure, based off of the description already, we already have some preconceived opinions on Amanda. But before we come to any conclusions, here is a little more context into Amanda's story. So, Amanda grew up in a middle-class household in Jamestown with her mother, father, and 2 older brothers. Her mother and father were devout Catholics who parented the kids through Bible verses. The parent-child relationships became extremely tumultuous over time, with the parents using religion as an excuse to manipulate and harm their children. Due to this, Amanda's older brothers both moved out when they turned 18, leaving Amanda on her own with her parents. Throughout high school, Amanda ended up couch surfing at various friends' houses until graduation was around the corner. Post-grad, Amanda attempted to get her associate's degree. However, she did not end up completing this degree. Since then, Amanda has had several jobs over the past decade and was working full-time at Chipotle for the past 3 years. Eventually, the company let Amanda go due to her quote-unquote behavioral inconsistencies. These inconsistencies were later identified as schizophrenic episodes. Since being prescribed medication accordingly, these symptoms have fortunately subsided. So, when looking for the best orienting theory that I felt related to Amanda's case, I thought that would be the crisis theory. This is used when people in crisis are overwhelmed because their normal coping skills are not sufficient. And this is a direct quote from the Social Work Practicum textbook by Cynthia Garthwaite. So, if we compare this to Amanda's situation, I'm going to be using keywords from the definition and then applying them to Amanda's case to create a more organized and easy to comprehend portfolio and situation. So, like I said previously, people in crisis are overwhelmed because their normal coping skills are not sufficient. So, due to Amanda missing 4 doses of her antipsychotic, she is now, quote-unquote, in crisis. She is struggling to separate her therapist from her mother, warping her reality. This confusion and distress has caused Amanda to abandon her sufficient, quote-unquote, coping skills. Okay. So, the practice theory that most closely related to Amanda's case was the crisis intervention model. The model theorizes that clients in crisis that overwhelm their coping skills can be supported to return to previous functioning. This is also a quote from Garthwaite's textbook. So, let's apply this to Amanda's situation. In this particular case, Amanda needs to work through her childhood trauma with a therapist through cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. So clearly her coping skills have been overwhelmed, but there is room for her to return to previous functioning through proper therapy. So 2 goals for Amanda that I've created are that 1, Amanda will achieve 90% medicinal accuracy for the next 7 days. This will help regulate her own emotions and help her stay grounded. And goal 2, Amanda will receive cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, 2 times a month to work through her childhood trauma. This will help Amanda separate the influence of her mother from the influence of her therapist, who she planned on harming. So the model that I felt best represented the crisis intervention model was Robert's 7-stage crisis intervention model. The steps from here are, number 1, plan and conduct crisis and biopsychosocial assessment. 2, establish rapport and rapidly establish collaborative relationships. 3, identify dimensions of presenting problems. 4, explore feelings and emotions. 5, generate and explore alternatives. 6, develop and formulate an action plan. And 7, follow up, plan, and agreement. The crisis resolution should be somewhere between 6 and 7. So once again, let's apply this to Amanda. I'm going to use the second goal from earlier. So Amanda will receive cognitive behavioral therapy 2 times a month to work through her childhood trauma. So using Robert's 7-stage crisis intervention model, steps 1 through 7, I will be applying this to Amanda's case. So the first step, which was plan and conduct crisis and biopsychosocial assessment, would be that you as the counselor need to assess Amanda. The most important thing is that you need to make sure she is not a danger to herself. The second step, establish rapport and rapidly establish collaborative relationships. We're going to work together with Amanda to reach for goals that are SMART, the acronym SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time specific. If you look at the goal, that does meet all of those requirements. The third step, identify dimensions of presenting problems. Ask yourself questions. What brought Amanda to this crisis state? What are her triggers? What is holding her back? Step 4, explore feelings and emotions. Include active listening and validation. Practice active listening with Amanda and remember to validate her experiences. Be sure to ask Amanda open-ended questions about previous therapy experience and make sure to use strengths perspective as much as you can. Number 5, generate and explore alternatives. So discuss coping mechanisms with Amanda, maybe some coping mechanisms she used in the past, maybe suggest some for future coping. We all need to plan for future coping. Number 6, plan to work on and complete CBT therapy, develop and formulate an action plan. So in between 6 and 7, we're going to have a crisis resolution. So we need to follow that plan in order to get to that crisis resolution and schedule future meetings between you and her to measure the success of the task and the success of the goals. Okay, that is it. That is my presentation.